I'm Anne from Game Like a Mother. I specialize in games that can be played in 20 minutes or less, and today we are going to talk about which version of Kingdomino is right for you. I have played all the versions of Kingdomino and talk about them a lot because, spoiler, they are all excellent, but sometimes a particular game might be better suited to one type of audience than another, so we're going to talk about that today. All the versions of Kingdomino, along with the expansion, are listed along with the timestamp in the description of the video, so if you want to skip to a particular one, you can. Let's get started. First up, we're going to start with Kingdomino, the original. What Kingdomino is it's a domino game with terrain on the dominoes instead of numbers. And each turn everyone gets to select one domino, which they are going to place in their kingdom, and you have to follow the rules of dominoes, like one side has to match another. And you're trying to make a grid, complete your kingdom, and then at the end you just multiply the connecting pieces of terrain with the number of crowns they have on them, and that's how many points you get, and whoever's the most wins the game. So it's a game of elegant simplicity. It seems very intuitive and easy. It's a game that grandchildren can play with grandparents, and maybe you have to get out a calculator to do the math at the end because it can get a little tricky with like 9 times 7 plus 6 times 3 plus when you're adding up all the different areas. But that's kind of fun for little kids, and it's good practice for adults too. And it's just easy and fun. The thing that I like for this is you can bring this game into any household and you should have success. This is a good game if you have a family member that says, oh, we're trying to get away. We've been playing Risk and Monopoly and nobody really likes board game nights. You say, why don't you try Kingdomino? And it's just easy. It isn't anything where even if you don't play a lot of board games, you're going to say, oh, what are all these tricky rules? It's easy, but then it's fun to play again. There's enough going on there that it's interesting even if you do play a fair number of board games. So Kingdomino itself, a staple. You can't go wrong with this one. Next up, I'm going to talk about Dragomino, which is like the kid version of Kingdomino. And you might say, Kingdomino seems pretty simple. Why would I need to have a kid version of it? It is because theme is everything for little kids to get them to play games. And dragons are cool for everybody. Little boys love them, little girls love them. Grown-ups love them because dragons are fun. I love playing this game with my kids, and we've played it a bunch. How this game works is it's the same thing as Dragomino. You have the terrain tiles, and you have to have them placed down matching. But each time a piece of terrain matches the spot next to it, you get to select a baby dragon egg, and then you flip it over and see if it's empty or if there's a cute little baby dragon inside of it. And at the end, when you've made your grid, which does not have to be any particular shape, they've taken out any of the requirements for that, just whatever shape you can put together with the dominoes is fine. Then you just count up the number of baby dragons you have, and that is your score, which is fabulous. That makes this game so accessible to much younger kids than 8, which is what the recommended age for Kingdomino. This means kids as young as 4 can probably hang in there with a minimal amount of help to just place down matching dominoes and grab the corresponding dragon egg that goes with it. And kids love this game. I've never played this with a child who didn't want to run home and get it afterwards. I brought it to board game camps. I brought it to Girl Scout game night, and just anybody who played it loved it. It's that much of a go-to game. And it's nice because it is competitive, but they have a mama dragon, and anytime you flip up an empty dragon egg, you get the mama dragon, and that means you get to go first the next round when you select dominoes, and it's worth a point at the end of the game. So it moves around as people collect empty eggs, so you aren't guaranteed to have it at the end of the game, but if you do have it at the end, then you get an extra point, and it seems to really mitigate the sorrow when, oh no, I got another empty egg, but you get the mama dragon, and that really, it's amazing how just like a little thing like that can really help pacify a small child, so it's not as upsetting to, oh no, I didn't get one again. Oh, okay, I get to go first next time. Just genius. So they hit it out of the park with this one. I mean, just theme, gameplay, and I love this because it's a great way, if they play Dragomino, then you can get them into the other Kingdomino games when they get a little bit older. So it's an excellent gateway game for a young child to get them to play even more exciting and fun games when they get older. Next up, we have my favorite, which is Kingdomino Origins. This is the newest version that Kingdomino has come out with, and they knocked it out of the park. It is fabulous. In this, instead of just having your dominoes with terrain that you piece together and then score at the end, they still have that, but it's a Stone Age theme, and there are 3 different modes that you can choose to play, which sounds like it could bog the game down, but they've managed to do it in a really great way. There is a Discovery mode, Totem mode, and Tribe mode. In Discovery mode, you just introduce a couple of volcanoes. That's the first level, and there's volcanoes, and you can shoot off. There's little fire tokens, and if you have, it's Stone Age, so fire instead of crowns for how you score your points at the end, and you can choose where to place the fire tokens when you have a volcano piece that you collect. In Totem mode, you get to get resources, and there are the cutest little wooden resources that you get to place, like fish and buffalo and little mushrooms and flint, and you get to place those on the dominoes as you collect them and place them. And then there are bonuses for being the person that has the most of a specific kind of resource at the end of the game. And then finally, there's Tribe mode, where you get to use those resources to purchase bonus cards, and you can strategically place them around the board in order to maximize points, which really ups the level of strategy and makes it really fun if you do play a lot of board games, because that is the one complaint that people have about Kingdomino. Oh, it's pretty basic, and if you play a lot of board games, then maybe it's not one that you're going to get out every single Friday, because it is kind of the same thing. But which is fine for some households, if you just play a game every couple months and you just want it to be fun and easy, Kingdomino is lovely, nothing wrong with that. This game you get for somebody who already plays a fair number of games, even though they have 3 different modes, and the first mode is very easy to pick up. I would not give this to somebody who just was in like the Risk and Monopoly category of games, because the number of pieces in the box are going to be overwhelming and intimidating if you don't already play some games. The rule book is going to be, you're going to flip through and oh my gosh, there's like this many pages. It's very simple once you go through, and it's not at all hard to pick up, but if you're not used to that, it's going to be tough. However, you can, if you are the one and you know how to play games, you can use this with people who don't play a lot of games, because you just say, oh, don't pay attention to those pieces. We're doing discovery mode, and it's like this normal thing, and you just get to move these fire tokens around whenever you have a volcano. So that is what I love about this game, because I, as a person who plays a fair amount of games, can just really like hit the audience that I want to play with. And we use all 3 versions. And the theme is so great. My son, who is 9, plays a fair amount. He plays a lot of board games. It's so much fun. It's really amazing to get to play games with my kid. We love it, and it's a really great quality time thing to get to do. He has been asking to play Kingdomino Origins so much more than he ever did with just regular Kingdomino, because he loves the resource pieces from the Totem mode so much. He'll play with them after we're done. I, as an adult, think they're really cool, and it's fun to get to have the cute little fish tokens. And it's interesting, we end up playing on the middle level most, because it seems like for the audience that I play with, that's the biggest hit. Like my parents, we've played this with them a bunch. They help us test out games, and we've tried all 3 levels, and they are fully capable of doing the 3rd mode, where you have to make the more strategic decisions and really like decide where you're going to select like your cavemen that you get to place out. But it slows down the game for them, and they're perfectly happy with the totem mode. And so that's what we do when it's my husband and I. He loves the tribe mode, and it makes it so he's excited to play the game, and it makes it so he's excited to bring it to a guy's game night because it's a more intense gaming experience. So this one really, it ticks all the boxes. I would say this is my go-to one. If somebody already plays a bunch of board games, I wouldn't get them Kingdomino. I would get them this one, and then they'll be able to play it with anybody. And it has, if you go to Board Game Geek, they have ratings on a bunch of different games, on all the games. And this has really the highest ratings I've seen for any game that's not just like a super intense long game. For a short, like 20-25 minute game, it has really high ratings. So it just seems like it's a hit with everyone. So this is like my new go-to Kingdomino. Spoiler, if you're an adult and you like board games, this is the one I'm going to say to get. But they're all good, and you can get more versions, even if you really like this one. Next up, we're going to talk about the Age of Giants expansion, which is just some extra tiles that you can introduce into either Kingdomino or Queendomino. It does not work with Origins. The tiles look different. But the key thing with this is that it adds in the opportunity to have it be a 5-player game, which can be fantastic depending on who you're wanting to play this with. The tiles either have giants on them or show footprints of giants walking away. And the deal is, if you get a giant on your land, they block one of the crowns, so your score is going to be lower at the end of the game because of that. Or you can have somebody else take one of those giants and then it blocks one of their crowns instead. So that's kind of fun, more interaction between the players, like a give and take of the giants. And they don't seem to really affect the score too much, so it's not like, oh my gosh, you just gave me a giant and made me lose 20 points. So it doesn't seem to add angst into the gameplay where people are going to have fights over these giants moving around, but they make it a little more interesting and fun. And they also have a few bonus tiles where I really like that they add in different bonuses. You can go and it changes. So it adds interest to the game without adding much complexity. It's very simple to add. And then there's a cool tower then to get that you load up all the tiles in and then you take them out from that, which is also very cool. And I love this game. It's really fun to play. And before Kingdomino Origins, I would have said, oh my goodness, run out and get this. If you have Kingdomino, then you get Age of Giants and then you're set. But Origins does the same thing that Age of Giants does in making the game more interesting and have a little bit more going on, but it does it all in the same box, and I'd say it does it a little bit better. So if you already have Kingdomino, this is good. This is very fun. It adds interest to the gameplay, especially if you're trying for that 5th player, then by all means pick out this one. But I'd say between this and Origins, if you're looking for more interesting gameplay for Kingdomino, Origins would be my selection. Next up, we have Kingdomino Duel, which I feel does not get the love it deserves. It is a fabulous 2-player Kingdomino game where you roll dice and then you select a die, the other person selects 2 die, and then you get to select whatever's remaining, and with those die you make your domino. They're like, you pretend like they're connected together, and then on a little pad you get to draw the pictures on the dice, which they make very simple for it's not like you're having to draw a mural, and then that's how you make your Kingdomino kingdom. You're placing these dice rolls, drawing them on the board, and this one, I love this level of like strategy and gameplay because it takes it up a notch from the original, and there's like they call it a spell book, and you get different bonuses depending on the dice you select. If you get enough of a certain type that you've marked off, then you get some bonuses which allow you to do things like you can separate your dice and place them independently. If you're the first player, if you roll the dice, you get to pick the first 2 instead of picking 1, have the other person pick the 2, and then you get the last one. So you can do things like that. And if basically, I would say get this one if you already really like Kingdomino and you want a portable version to get to bring around with you. Kingdomino is not a travel-friendly game. It takes up a lot of space. It's kind of big, and with Kingdomino Duel, you have a great travel-sized way to bring Kingdomino along with you. The gameplay is fun. It does feel a little bit like work to have to draw in after when you're used to just plunking a domino down into place, and you actually have to draw in. But I mean, it's literally like some of the dominoes are just 2 dots, and you're drawing in 2 dots on one of the spaces on the board. So it's not any tricky artwork that you're having to do here. But it's fabulous. It's a nice take on Kingdomino, and it's just called a roll and write. So it's an excellent little game. Get it if you already like Kingdomino and need something to travel with. And finally, we have Queendomino. Queendomino is basically Kingdomino plus taxes. No, I'm not kidding. In this game, you are given some knights at the beginning of the game, and once you've placed a few tiles down, if you have place a knight on a spot and there's like 3 connecting terrain types that are all right next to each other, you get to collect coins based on that. You get to collect taxes, and then you use that throughout the game to purchase building tiles from a strip across the top of the board. And you use those to place in red spots on your board, your building tiles, and they can give you things like castles or more knights, which then you use to collect more taxes. And there's even a dragon you can pay to burn off a building tile that one of your opponents might want. And this game was the answer originally to people who said, oh, I like the concept of Kingdomino, but I need a more full-fledged strategic game out of that. Give me a little bit more. And it was a good choice for this until Kingdomino Origins came along. And I would say if you already have Queendomino, enjoy. It is a good game. You can play it and have a very good time. If you do not have Queendomino and are looking for more of a full-fledged like Kingdomino but strategy, I would very much get Kingdomino Origins because it provides the same experience that Queendomino was going for, but it does it in a more seamless, intuitive fashion that Queendomino, some pieces of it just feel a little bit clunky at the end, and Kingdomino Origins, just the whole theme and gameplay is so seamless and works so well that I would hands down choose that instead. Queendomino is good, Kingdomino Origins is better. So that's it for all of the versions of Kingdomino. Hopefully this has helped you select which version or 2 or 3 is right for your household. I firmly believe that every house should have a version of Kingdomino in it because it is just that good of a game. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time from Game Like a Mother.